Hey everybody, it's GauntletX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today I'll be playing another Streets of New Capenna Premier Draft, and this one's going to be a banger because our Pick 1 Pack 1 is a phenomenal card. It's even monocolored, leaving us wide open. The Professional Facebreaker. 3 mana for a 2/3 menace. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create a treasure token, and you can sack that treasure to exile the top card of your library and play that card this turn. So an insane card draw engine all on its lonesome. Incredibly good alongside any other treasure production, which there is plenty in red alone, so you don't even need to be a particular color pair for this card to go off. Super phenomenal Pick 1 Pack 1. Pack 2, we do see Riveteer's Ascendancy. This is a much more narrow rare. Not only is it 3 colors, but it requires a very specific build. You're going to want a lot of Blitz cards, specifically ones with high mana cost. And then as you're blitzing, you can theoretically get back cheaper Blitz cards while you do your thing. Pretty fun card, pretty fun build around. Don't know that it's all that good. I probably wouldn't take it if this were a super competitive draft right now, but we are just a regular Premier draft, so I could just scoop it up and try it out. Again, it is tying me to a lot of colors really quickly, but our first card is already making us pretty much guaranteed red. We're going to try hard to be in red, and we're going to try hard to have a lot of treasure tokens, which can help cast very color-specific cards like that. I'm cool with Riveteer's Ascendancy. If I was being as competitive as possible here, like if this were the Arena Open, I might pick up a Cleanup Crew and go red-green, or Corrupt Court Official and start pushing to red-black, so I don't immediately tie myself to 3 colors. But I'd like to try out Riveteer's Ascendancy. This seems pretty fun with Blitz cards. Again, casting a card for the Blitz cost is often going to be a little cheaper. It's going to end up in your grave at the end of turn, so you can return it with something else later. And yeah, I don't know. It just seems like a fun card to try to build around if we can. Alright, Pack 1, Pick 3, pretty weak stuff here. The 2 weakest of the gold commons, Snooping Newsy and Jetmir's Fixer. Really like the green-white, the red-black, and the white-blue common creature, but these two are just like fine. I do like Jetmir's Fixer. If you have the treasure tokens out, you can give this a permanent buff, and late game, if you and your opponent end up just having to top deck cards, this is a 2-drop that all of a sudden can compete with like 6 mana creatures, because you just have so much mana to dump into it. That being said, I might just take Freelance Muscle. This card is just hilariously big when it matters. Just anytime it attacks or blocks, it's going to be absolutely massive. It's going to be a 4/4 plus all the stats of your next biggest creature. I'll just go with a Freelance Muscle there. Pick 4 now. There is another Jetmir's Fixer. We're seeing these everywhere. That's pretty nice. We also see Riveteer's Overlook. A lot of blue in this pack, so blue is looking kind of open, although the only blue card I really like here would be Obscura Initiate and then Metropolis Angel, and those are both like blue-white or blue-black cards. You would not play Obscura Initiate in a deck that doesn't have white or black. I think it's between Jetmir's Fixer and Riveteer's Overlook for me. We want to get that mana fixing, make sure we're good with Riveteer's Ascendancy, or do we want to bank on having a bunch of treasures? Because having a bunch of treasures is going to work well with Jetmir's Fixer and Professional Facebreaker, and it'll make Riveteer's Ascendancy easier to cast. I don't know, Jetmir's Fixer, again, it's not all that exciting, and it tends to go pretty late. I'm going to actually just scoop up the Riveteer's Overlook here, make sure I've got some good mana fixing lands. Here I will 100%, well, never mind. I was going to say I would 100% take the Girder Goons because it's a phenomenal card. I absolutely love it. My last draft deck, I had 4 Girder Goons and I was not unhappy whenever I drew them. And this is exactly the kind of card you want with Riveteer's Ascendancy, because we get to spend 4 mana to blitz this out, attack with it, sacrifice it at end of turn. It's a 5 mana creature dying. So we get to return a creature with mana value 4 or less from our graveyard to the battlefield. That's a really good synergy there. The one thing that makes me not just slam take it here is Bouncer's Beatdown, which is pretty great removal, better than green usually gets. I'm still going to take Girder Goons here. The reason being is because we're green, black, and black and red do get pretty good removal in this format, while green doesn't. Like if I were green, white, blue, or green, white, red or something, I might just take Bouncer's Beatdown, but because I'm partially a black deck here, I think I'm okay to pass up on the decent removal for now, because there's a good bit in green, red, and black. So we're pick 6 now. We do have Goldhound, which theoretically works with the treasure theme, but I really don't like 1/1s for 1, even when you stack a million abilities on them like the Goldhound has. That being said, there's really not much in this pack. There's a Cutthroat Contender, Witty Roastmaster. The best card in the pack is Exotic Pets. If we were staying completely open, we might just scoop up Exotic Pets and start trying to push into white-blue, because we have seen a bunch of blue pass to us. Yeah, I'm not going to really miss out on much passing the other cards there, so I'm actually kind of okay with Arena's auto-suggester just going for Exotic Pets, even though it's pretty off-color. So now Run Out of Town is probably the best card in the pack. Woody Roastmaster, Attended Socialite, and Crooked Custodian are all fine filler for an aggressive deck that's in green, red, or black. Run Out of Town is not too much better than these. It's like a bit better. So I don't think it's worth taking Run Out of Town here. I've got a lot of reasons to try to stay in what we're at. Now I might just take the Woody Roastmaster. I think red is our number one color right now because Professional Facebreaker and Riveteer's Ascendancy, but particularly Professional Facebreaker. That's just the strongest card we've drafted so far by quite a bit. So Obscura Storefront, that's a white, blue, black mana fixer, not going to work for us. Glamorous Outlaws, blue, black, red. Not exciting. This rare is very bad. The Evolving Door. So I'm just on Warm Welcome. This card's played pretty solid. 3 mana, get a 1/1 at instant speed and pull out a creature from your top 5. Pretty good deal, like a more expensive Spirited Companion if you've played a lot of Kamigawa. I do like Riveteer's Decoy. This card's played really well. For 2 mana, it's a 3/1. That's not ideal in this format. There's a lot of 1/1s and things that can eviscerate 1 toughness creatures. But this card is really good when you blitz it out because it's just going to force a trade, which is fine because it only has 1 toughness. So at any time later in the game, all it's going to do is trade. So that way you're forcing a trade and drawing a card. So you're going up a card in that interaction. Maybe we could take the red-black duel there, but I'm pretty high on Riveteer's Decoy right now where I would take it over a dual land at this point in the format. So it looks like we are kind of pushing towards green-red as the core here to where we could just take like a Ready to Rumble. Not fantastic removal. It's pretty expensive, but gotta do what you gotta do. Gotta get some removal in the deck. Now we just have like a high-rise Sawjack. Have not seen Most Wanted really do much, so I'm not a huge fan of this card. The very low addition of toughness is what makes this card not super exciting to me. So definitely looking like green-red treasures with the black splash for the Riveteer's Ascendancy to make all our blitz cards super spicy. That's our kind of hopes and dreams right now for the deck. But it certainly looks like just some solid green-red stuff going on. Whatever happens. Pretty unlikely to end up being blue-black for Snooping Newsy or blue at all, so I'm just going to take this Scuttling Butler that I will probably not play. If you're ever interested in seeing how many of each card you own, like if you're just rare drafting, then just hold down the Alt key on PC. I'm not sure what it is on Mac. Alright, so what do we have here? We have another Girder Goons, which I'm super high on, but there's also Jewel Thief, and we are looking more green-red as the core, black as the splash, so take the solid green card over the solid black card. Yeah, Jewel Thief is a phenomenal common. This card is absolutely stacked with text for a 3-mana 3/3 at common. Plays incredibly well, and it gives us that treasure token to work with our Facebreaker, help us splash in the black as well. I think it's going to be Jewel Thief here. This rare is fun, but I don't think it's going to be good in limited. It's a very, very, very slow rare, and we need a lot of instants and sorceries. That's not really what our deck is kind of looking at here. All right, another Jewel Thief. Don't mind if I do. Just scoop that right up. Do we take Strangle over Jewel Thief? I don't think so. I think Jewel Thief's just pretty absurd. Strangle is great. It is great cheap removal, but I don't know, Jewel Thief is pretty phenomenal and it has more synergy with our deck. Strangle is just like a good removal spell. Jewel Thief is a really good rate for a creature that also happens to spit out a treasure token that we are very, very much into. So I'm going to take the Jewel Thief here. We'd love to wheel Tramway Station. There's a 0% chance Strangle wheels, but maybe the Tramway Station will make it around the pod and come back to us. Be a pretty good pickup. I'm not very high on Crew Captain. Just a very low toughness card. Again, there are a lot of things that are good against low toughness creatures. Sure, you get 1 attack guaranteed out of this card, but as soon as its indestructibility is gone, then your 3-drop is just going to trade down into their 2 mana, 2/2, or something like that, or just some random citizen tokens they have left behind. So I don't love the Crew Captain. That being said, there's not much else in this pack. I guess we can take a Tramway Station. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think I just will take a Tramway Station here. Okay. Pick 4 now. Another Girder Goons. Take every Girder Goons. That's my recommendation. Not true. I did take a Jewel Thief over Girder Goons earlier. But if you're in black, Girder Goons is just the sickness. But especially with Riveteer's Ascendancy, that is really going to make that card pop off. If that's our goal today, is to get Riveteer's Ascendancy to work, having a very high mana cost creature that sacrifices itself is going to be a great way to do that. Girder Goons certainly does that. So now we don't have much. Horde Hauler is kind of a lot to crew, but it is a 5/5 trample. That bonus text is just meaningless, though. This just feels like kind of a worse version of our Capenna Express if we want a vehicle in the deck. I guess trample's kind of a big deal. But yeah, I don't love the green, red, or black cards. Black is the splash, so I'm not super high on just taking a Grizzly Sigil. I'll just take a Civic Gardener, make sure I have some 2-drop creatures, because currently I only had 1 at that time. So now we've got 2. We want to get our curve started pretty aggressively. When you're focused on a main 2-color pair, which we are here in green-red, plus especially with Professional Facebreaker, if we can play a 2-mana creature turn 2 into Facebreaker turn 3, so we just immediately get a treasure out of this card, that'll be super, super good. I was going to say super hot, but that's copyrighted. I don't think that's allowed. I guess I take a Fatal Grudge here. There's not much we can really play. We're not going to main deck a Broken Wings, and this is a best of 1 draft. I really don't like Halo Scarab, again, with all the 1 toughness stuff and the stuff that's great at killing 1 toughness stuff. Card's not good. Cabaretti Initiate, also, you need to really build around that card, get a lot of auras or +X effects, and that's just not what our deck's really doing. Wow. Late Maestro's Diabolist. This card is much better than it looks. This card is incredible for Maestro's decks, specifically more towards the black-red sacrifice end, because this will keep giving you a 1/1 devil every single turn if you just keep sacrificing that devil. So Diabolist is pretty awesome, but we're really not playing that, but we're not going to splash in a fake your own death, so I'll just pick up Maestro's Diabolist, and maybe we splash it in off 1,000,000 treasure tokens. Who knows? Probably not. So here we get to pick up a combat trick of For the Family, just +2/+2 or +4/+4 if you have a ton of creatures, or Quick Draw Dagger, which is a combat trick that gives first strike and leaves an equipment behind. Or we can take that Gold Hound, I guess, because this would be the deck for it. Still not super high on Gold Hound, but I might try it out in this strategy. Not very high on Gold Hound, but that's just because of how poorly it's played for my opponents. I have never actually cast the card myself, so I suppose now would be the deck to actually try it out. We are early in the format. We got to give everything a shot. Except Cabaretti Initiate, I will never play that. No, I don't know what I want here. Don't really want any of this. I guess Dig Up the Body can theoretically bring back a bomb creature later. Kind of neat. Don't like anything in this pack. Midnight Assassin's just not a great card. Very low stats for its cost, unless you're very, very, very defensive. And yeah, nothing in here is exciting. Just cutting whatever we take there. Moving on to pack 2, pick 10. Ooh, we've got a Lord Xander in our draft pod. Wait, what? Okay. Alright, I like our draft pod. These are my people. Well, Crew Captain Wield, so we can play around with it, but I will likely end up cutting it. More black cards to cut. Wow, if we cut all this, we really don't have a deck right now. We have 11 cards. Yeah, we definitely have to do a lot of black splashing in here. Wow, so I like Kaldaya Strongarm a lot with the Riveteer's Ascendancy, and it's just a pretty solid green card, but the best card in this pack in our colors is Murder, but that'll be really hard for us to cast. Do we play like black-green as the core and red as the splash? That's pretty wonky. Not normally what you would want to do, because usually you have a lot of good 2-color cards, but because we don't really, we only have a Fatal Grudge, we just not play that. Play 0 2-color cards, focus on being green, black, and splash the red. I think that's where we're at here. I'm going to take this Murder. Focus up on green, black, maybe? So that the Murder's easier to cast. Hit that double black. Alright. Lord Xander, not a difficult card to splash in, but it is a 7-mana 6/6 on the ground. Makes your opponent discard a bunch of cards, but by the time you cast this, they probably only have 1 or 2 in hand, so you only make them discard 1 or 0. Don't love Lord Xander in Limited. So what am I on here? Probably just another Riveteer's Overlook. Our mana base is going to be pretty difficult. We just picked up a really important double black card now. Yeah, I'll take another Riveteer's Overlook here. Take a third Riveteer's Overlook. We could take Body Dropper, but if we're going to play a Body Dropper, we really need to be black-red at the core of the deck to consistently hit this down on turn 2, and I just don't think we can do that. We have a lot of green. Green is going to be a core piece of this deck no matter what. I guess alternatively in that case, we could take Elegant Entourage. This is a very good rate. 4 mana for a 4/4 every time a creature enters the battlefield. Give something +1/+1 trample till end of turn. Masked Bandits is fine. I think it's as good as the Entourage, though. So it's Overlook or Entourage. I'm actually going to take Entourage. We are quite a few cards away from having a full 23-card deck, so we can't just keep taking nothing but lands here. We still need... There's 3 lands in here, so we have 17 non-lands. We still need 6 more non-land cards to complete this deck and have a 23-card deck. That being said, I really like the dual lands that can sacrifice themselves, so I might take Racer's Ring over Deal Gone Bad. How are we doing on removal? We have Murder and Ready to Rumble. Yeah, we're not doing great on removal. Maybe we are just supposed to take Deal Gone Bad. Or Prize Fight even. Prize Fight even is another way to get a treasure as well, but I'm just going to take Racer's Ring. The mana fixing has been disappearing pretty early on in the other packs. Here, I think I take Riveteer's Decoy, again, because we're just going to run a lot of green sources in this deck. This will be a nice 2-drop that gives us an incredibly good deal later if we get to blitz it in on 4. Yeah, pretty all in for that. Not really missing out on anything. Another Goldhound, a Wrecking Crew, but we've got a lot of 5-drops. Rogue's Gallery to return 3 creatures from grave to hand maximum. Not the greatest cards here, not the greatest pack here. I guess Goldhound is solid with Riveteer's Ascendancy. Because it's like a 1-mana creature we can definitely have in grave. I don't know. I feel like I'm going to regret running these Goldhounds, but this will be an experimental draft. It'll be a fun one to see what happens. Unlucky Witness. We don't have any ways to sacrifice our own cards. We have Fatal Grudge, that's one way, but we don't have any casualty in the deck. And we have a lot of Blitz, but that's not going to sack the Witness. I'm just going to take the land again here. And now we have to just take any borderline playable to fill out the deck, such as High-Rise Sawjack. Wow, we've got a million things at 3 mana, though. Maybe we just want another 5-drop of Rakish Revelers, because Goons are going to be a 4-drop. Now let's take the Sawjack. 3rd Goldhound? Really go for it? We got 16 creatures. That'll be our 17th creature. Try the Quick Draw Dagger out. You know what? I'm going to try the Quick Draw Dagger out here. This will be a draft all about trying new stuff. Graveyard Shift seems very bad, though. 5 mana to return a creature from grave to the board is not good unless you have a creature that costs more than 5 mana, and we really don't. We're on average going to pick up a 3-drop with that for 5. We would rather just have drawn a 4 or 5 mana card instead of spending 5 mana for a 3 mana thing. Alright, so we get Rakish Revelers. We definitely get Masked Bandits here again. Body Dropper is going to be hard to get out there. It's still good. It's never going to come out turn 2. I don't know. Maybe it's Body Dropper there, but I'll go Masked Bandits. Still lacking a bit on the top end. We do get to wheel that Deal Gone Bad. And get another green 2-drop. That'll be easy to cast. We've got a full deck now. We even get to cut a few cards. Cut these 2 Goldhounds. Yeah, I don't think this deck is super good. We're kind of trying to do the Riveteer's Ascendancy thing, and I don't imagine that'll pan out particularly well. Let's put all our nonsense in here so we could try a little bit of everything. Okay, I think I was probably right where we go green-black, splash the red. Where we would want to drop the Goldhounds. I don't think we're going to play this Scuttling Butler. I'll try out the Capenna Express, I guess. We have some treasure production. It's going to be really bad against, like, blue-white flyers, but it's pretty good against ground creatures, because you can always just threaten to sacrifice a treasure and kill whatever they're attacking with that has less than 6 power. It's pretty hard to attack into a Capenna Express when your opponent has a treasure down. I don't think it's a super great card. Like, I'm not picking that card highly or anything, but it's a card I'd actually be interested in trying, at least this one time here. Got a lot at 3 mana. We can cut some Sawjacks. We could cut this Roastmaster again, or as well, because we are trying to cut down on red here, it looks like. So yeah, we'll cut the Roastmaster. Maybe Crew Captain or Ready to Rumble. Our removal is not great. We have Murder, Deal Gone Bad, and Ready to Rumble, so I don't really want to cut one of those. So we'll put Ready to Rumble back and just cut Crew Captain here. The Rakish Revelers, we can cast it for red-green, and then it can fix its own mana, theoretically. But I'm kind of wanting to cut that too. It's going to come out pretty slowly. Do we try one of the Midnight Assassins? Card feels pretty bad to me, but we could do the one of. I'll do a one of Midnight Assassin over a one of Rakish Revelers. All right, let's make this mana base and get into the gameplay. So here's a look at how our colors are split up. We need a lot of green sources, 14 green cards. We have 8 black cards and 4 red cards. So I like it how we have it here. We don't have a single double green card in the deck, which is why I think it's pretty nice that we have 6 Forest, 1 Racer's Ring, triple Riveteer's Overlook being 10 green sources. Then 5 Swamps, 1 Tramway Station, 3 Riveteer's Outlook being 9 black sources, and 1 Mountain, 1 Tramway Station, 1 Racer's Ring, 3 Riveteer's Overlook being 6 red sources. Our mana seems pretty dang good here, actually. So I'm actually pretty excited about that. All right, one final look at the deck. Mana base looks pretty great. Deck looks fun. We've got some quality creatures in here. Some good removal. Our mana base is a bit awkward, and we're pretty experimental with this deck, I would say. We've got Riveteer's Ascendancy, Quick Draw Dagger, Capenna Express. A few cards in here I'm not super high on based on how they look like they'll play, but we'll see how they play in practice here. We also have a Midnight Assassin. This isn't even the ideal place for it, so I'm definitely really low on Midnight Assassin right now, but we needed something in here. These are the cards I'm worried about, but overall, a pretty solid base for the deck, and I'm excited to see how it'll play out. So here we are, round 1. The mana's a bit awkward here. Only 2 mana in hand. We've got multiple 5-drops. Girdergoons is a 4-drop, though. If we get to 3 mana, we have Midnight Assassin and Sawjack at the ready, and our opponent's on the play. I'm going to keep this since our opponent's on the play and hope for the best. And we do immediately hit a land. Do I want to play Riveteer's Overlook in case I hit a 2-drop, or do I want to just play the land to make it a little tiny bit more likely I hit another land? That feels a little too fancy. Let's just pop the Overlook immediately. It's probably more likely that we hit a 2-drop than that we thin our deck too much by playing one single fetch land. We've drawn our double black for our murder, so the mana's looking really nice here. And we've hit a land every single turn, so very glad I went for the deck thinning fetch land first. So we're going to go Sawjack into Girdergoons into Freelance Muscle, probably. Opponent's on blue-red. They're going to call in a professional to take out our high-rise Sawjack. Just straight up hired an assassin to kill our lumberjack. That's pretty rude. Paragon of Modernity from our opponent. They only have 2 colors so far, but if they get a 3rd, they can start spending mana to give that permanence. +1/+1 counters, which is quite powerful. So we're going to slam down Girdergoons. This card's an excellent deal to blitz it, so that's pretty much what I always do. 4 mana sorcery, deal 4 to your opponent, get a tap 2/2 and draw a card. Insane card. We've drawn Professional Facebreaker, which is another insane card. And our opponent does have their 3rd color of mana. Looks like a Maestro's deck from them. And Raffine's Silencer enters the battlefield. It connives. When it dies, it's going to give -X/-X to one of our creatures, where X is its power, so it'll trade single-handedly into our 2/2 here. Do I want to drop Professional Facebreaker and then attack? I feel like they definitely trade for our 2/2 if we do that. And I'm kind of okay with them trading with our 2/2. But if I do that, I'm only spending 3 mana instead of 5. They're probably trading with our 2/2 anyway, because they're at 16 here. So we probably just attack in, get the trade into the 2/2, and then drop a Freelance Muscle. There's no point in playing a 3-drop here, because it's not going to impact anything, because we're not going to deal damage with them. We're not going to get a treasure token. We might as well play the creature with the biggest impact. The biggest concern here would be that they have the 2 mana counter spell that costs 4 or greater, but we don't really have a good play to play around that. We could just play Professional Facebreaker again, but then again, we're having 2 mana just sit here unspent, and this card is just going to draw removal if it doesn't get countered, so it's probably also just going to die. I think we just Freelance Muscle. Alright, they don't have Disdainful Stroke. They don't have Counterspell unless we have... or Counterspell that costs 4 or greater. So pretty happy with the choice to go for Freelance Muscle there. Because there's never a guarantee they would have Disdainful Stroke. So If I had a line where I could play a 3-drop and a 2-drop, like play a Professional Facebreaker and a 2-mana 2/2, I would do that to play around Disdainful Stroke, because then there's like no downside to it. But as we saw there, the downside to not running Freelance Muscle Out would be we would just have a 2/3 instead of a big old 4/4, which is a pretty big downside. So now they have Obscura Initiate. Kind of want to play Facebreaker, attack in, get a treasure token, or force them to chump Initiate, and then we can use the treasure token to kill one of their creatures. Well, they're going to take the 7 down to 9, so we're probably killing Obscura Initiate, and I would rather cast Deal Gone Bad on it than Murder. Do it while they're tapped out, or be okay with running into a Disdainful Stroke. I can also just use Murder so I can keep the treasure token to get another card off the top with Professional Facebreaker's effect. Let's pass. Let's pass and probably use Murder for that reason. Keep our options open. They might play a better creature to kill. Forge Boss, I don't think that's a better creature on this board state. Unless they get a consistent way to sacrifice things. I think I just want to kill the lifelink. Ooh, they're just going to pass turn. The world is my oyster here. I guess... probably kill the lifelink. They're just done. They're over it. Okay, I was going to say I'm going to kill the lifelink and then we're going to untap and Deal Gone Bad another creature. Probably. But we'll sack the treasure first, see what we hit. Just start having Professional Facebreaker absolutely go off for us. Alright, 1-0 for the Streets of Rage deck. Soon enough we'll get a Streets of Rage secret lair and I'll get a cease and desist to have to remove this video. Anyways, this hand is pretty phenomenal. Our mana base is incredible and we have Professional Facebreaker on 3. Into Girder Goons on 4, which is really hard for our opponent to profitably block because it'll be blitzed out, so it'll die at the end of our turn anyway, so they'll have to chump block it for us to not get a treasure from Facebreaker. So, yeah, this seems like a really good rollout. Great way to start a game. No 2-drop, but we don't have a lot of 2-drops in here. I'm going to Riveteer's Overlook first thing, and I am going to grab a Swamp because we do have the double black Murder in here. Everything else only costs 1 mana of its color. But we are going to Overlook turn 1 so that we're open to playing 2-drops turn 2 and to thin our deck out of 1 land. And we do get a 2-drop, Riveteer's Decoy. Come on down, because you might get me an immediate treasure out of Professional Facebreaker. Riveteer's Initiate, so it's not going to get me a treasure. Because they have a creature, so it's going to have to just trade here no matter what. And I think I do just send in for the trade. It's a forced trade because of the Decoy's ability. Just get these cards off the board, but then we do play the Facebreaker. Facebreaker is Menace, so it is also good at getting in for that treasure. Something important to keep in mind that I forgot about last game. I am going to Girder Goons here. I'm all about the greed. They are not playing white, so I'm going to attack all. If they were playing white, I might not attack with Professional Facebreaker. If they're in a white deck and they just hold 3 mana up here, that's a little suspicious. They probably have something instant speed, as you can tell by it holding for them. And if they were a white deck and they did this play, I would be worried about running into Kill Shot, the 3 mana instant to destroy an attacking creature. So just good to keep in mind, after you've played a little bit of your formats, just keep in mind what kind of removal you had at instant speed and try to play around that. Gauntlet back again with the basic limited tips, just in case. Just gotta fill the airtime with something. This is not good. My Facebreaker has been whacked. Probably just go for our Entourage, go for a Warm Welcome next turn. Alright, we still got a big board state and they're down to 12. Got a 4-4 and a 2-2, and the 4-4 can give things +1/+1 trample. Really hoping to hit a creature off of this Warm Welcome out of the top 5. Otherwise, we will run out of gas pretty quickly. So they do have a Maestro's Charm, 5 damage to any creature. We have a Jewel Thief here. We can cast Jewel Thief even if we cast Warm Welcome, so I'm just going to Warm Welcome. I think, just in case there's something we want to play more than Jewel Thief, which there is not. That's just a bunch of lands and one Midnight Assassin, which is not super good here. Alright, down to 10. Alright, yeah, I mean, they're down to 10. Still just jamming. I don't want to get absolutely demolished by Hostile Takeover, so I'll hold on to my 1-2. It's also only adding 1 more damage to the board anyway. Out of the way, kill my 2-2, draw a card. It's a pretty great deal. I mean, if they have Hostile Takeover, I pretty much lose even if I hold on to Midnight Assassin. So am I really playing around it by not playing this? If I drop this, I have a much better play if they just go land 6-drop. Because if they just go land Glamorous Outlaw, I have no more damage coming at them. This way, at least I get to keep chipping in for 1. And I'm almost 100% certain, if they have Hostile Takeover and I come back from Hostile Takeover with a single 1-2 flyer, I'm still just going to lose. So we'll play around what we know they have, which is a good 6-drop creature. So now, we definitely still just attack at the sky and see if we just 1-for-1 trade for the Wrecking Crew, but then they're just going to play a 4-5 next turn anyway. This is not ideal. We are very much running out of gas here. Running on empty. Ooh, they just take it. Alright. So that's nice. I feel like we scryed a bunch of lands to the bottom as well. Or Warm Welcome got 3 of them on the bottom. Not technically scrying. So hopefully we can get out of this clump, get some action. There's a bunch of 4-5s from our opponent is a pretty big wall. Ready to rumble. Get rid of the reach one and just keep hitting for 1 in the sky, I guess. Yeah, that's a pretty legitimate draw. They're on a 4-turn clock. They've got 2 tramway stations they can sacrifice to draw a card if they have absolutely nothing in hand. Looks like they do have a Maestro's Initiate. Not a big fan of this card. It does give you an ability from the graveyard, which is certainly good, but the 1 toughness, again, that is a big deal breaker for me in this format, because as you can see, I just have a random citizen, so this Initiate's not great. Quick Draw Dagger's interesting. Do we want to just hit for 2 in the sky here? First Strike Death Touch is also pretty legit, but it's only First Strike the turn we play it. Yeah, I think rather than use this as a combat trick, we just try to hit them for 2, because if we just hit them for 2 twice, they're dead. We give them 1 turn to draw removal for the assassin. Really weird way to use the Quick Draw Dagger, but that's what we've got. Ah, Shattered Seraph is coming down next turn if they have an untapped land. Opponent has a lot of tapped lands, though. So even if they do have a land, doesn't mean they can cast it. Okay, and they can't. So they either had a tapped land in hand or no land in hand, so they couldn't get that flyer down. But that would have been a huge swing for our opponent. That'd be a 4-4 flyer, and they gain 3 life, so it trades into the assassin. They gain 3 to back up to 5. Luckily for us, though, they did not have the right land, and that'll be 2-0 for us. All right, another game where we've got Professional Facebreaker in the opening hand. It will be a definite keep on the play here as well, which is wonderful. It's funny, I was really low on Midnight Assassin, and when you think of it, last game, we won completely off the back of Midnight Assassin. We just needed some random card in the sky to help us get there. Alright. I run into cheap removal if I drop Facebreaker, but the cheapest removal in blue-black would be if they go Swamp and Murder. There's only one specific removal spell I can think of that really gets me here. There's the counter spell. 2 mana counter spell unless I pay 2. But, I mean, maybe they just go Mountain Strangle and then I cry. Yeah, if my opponent were on red, I might go for like Warm Welcome or Attended Socialite just to play around removal. And then I can drop Facebreaker during my turn, just get the attack in with Socialite, guarantee my treasure. But since all I see is blue-black so far, possible they just don't have removal that costs 3 or less. The blue removal is like 4 mana for a permanent removal spell. They're blue-black-white. They're Obscura, so they could have Kill Shot. We don't really have a response if they have Kill Shot. This is really suspicious to hold up the mana, but they've also cast Tainted Indulgence already, so we know they have like instant speed draw spells. Let's go for Elegance Entourage pre-combat. See if they just like counter this with Disdainful Stroke or something. Okay, it's Void Rend, so nothing we can do about that. Fair enough. I think I was probably going to pass the turn there, because I think this effect is powerful enough to just treat Professional Facebreaker as an enchantment to play around Kill Shot if our opponent has mana up. Ooh, 3/4 from our opponent that will drain us for life whenever they draw a card. That's a lot of pretty impressive stats. Is that good enough to just blow up with our removal spell here, or do we want to just run out some creatures? I think I just want to run out some creatures. Kill it next turn. Although then they would have some mana up for tricks. That scary 3/2 Socialite. Alright, drain us for 1 life off of Quasar. Is that Rayquaza from Pokemon? Nightclubber. I could play Warm Welcome, draw a creature, and save Socialite. Actually, with Entourage, I would save my 1/1 as well. Yeah. Now, this actually just works perfectly. We draw a creature, Socialite buffs itself, Entourage buffs the 1/1. None of our creatures die. I was thinking I might have to Quick Draw Dagger there to save Socialite, but no, this is even better. That's going to be a really sad Nightclubber, just do 2 damage, draw a card. But draw a card is pretty good with Quasar out, drain us for another life. So, still not bad. Alright. So we blitz in Riveteer's Decoy, make it bigger with Entourage, force Quasar to block it. Unless they have a great 1 blue mana spell. This is a real good way to clear out that Quasar. To kill it and draw a card. Yeah, that's really nice. Riveteer's Decoy putting in some legit work. Never mind. They phase out Quasar. Does have trample, so we still get in for that 4 damage. So that was nice. We've got another Riveteer's Decoy to go for it again, but they did make it a 5 toughness with their slip out of the back. Yeah, this is a pretty great little trick. It's the blue version of the put a +1/+1 counter on it, give it hexproof till end of turn kind of card that green usually has that plays quite well. So yeah, slip out the back is definitely a very legit card. Wow, yeah, this Quasar is just popping off all day long. Yeah, I'm pretty over that. Let's just kill it now. And then I'm cool with our 2/1 trading for their 2/1 flyer here, hitting them down to 4. Play around discard, or do we just drop this? If they make us discard, we just discard the dagger. Let's play this land. So we could have 7 mana next turn, could blitz out goons and drop a dagger if we hit a land. Okay, 4 mana it is. They're at 4 life, so if we just Riveteer's Decoy, they're forced to block Decoy and they take 4, 5, 6 from these two. I mean, anything we blitz out is theoretical lethal. So I think we just blitz out goons instead so we can get more creatures out of the deal. Murder the Entourage. Okay, so they're forced to block goons or die. So they block goons, take 1, go to 3, and I get a 2/2 in the end step and draw a card. If I had 1 more mana, it would easily be just play Sawjack, but because I don't, do I play Decoy or do I hold it so I can blitz it? I feel like I play it so I know I have mana up for Quick Draw Dagger. And I know all these are going to be attacking next turn. This only really goes badly if they have like another Night Clubber. That would be very good for them. Shattered Seraph. That's solid for them, but they are forced to block Riveteer's Decoy, and with Quick Draw Dagger, we can make the block pretty bad for them. Plus deal 3. Yep, easy attack in. Give the Decoy the first strike dagger, and then drop down one of these 2 Sawjacks post-combat. Yep, they're down to 3. Drop down a Sawjack. This is feeling very good now. Yeah, Deathsea on Twitter is very high on the Quick Draw Dagger. So I was interested in checking it out. Played really well right there. Played pretty okay last game. Just getting the extra Midnight Assassin damage in. I think I would not be opposed to just running one of, but I don't think I'm going to draft it particularly highly still, but it's a card I basically just never even looked at, and now I'm like, yeah, I'd run one of in any aggressive deck. Seems fine. Pretty sure they're just dead, and I don't have any blitz to really change things. We move the dagger over to guarantee more damage here, because this is going to get blocked anyway. Yeah, we've got enough mana. It only costs 1 to move it around, which is really nice and cheap. Alright, we're attacking for 6 here. Exotic Pets it is. That'll keep them alive just barely. They go to 1. We kill everything but their Sawjack. Let's play a Menace creature here, I think. Menace seems very good. They're at a low life total. Discard the Capenna Express. Make a real big Menace card. Just be extra spooky. Case the Joint. Draw 2 cards. Get the top card of each player's library. They only have 3 mana left afterwards, though, and they need 4 blockers. Tapped land. Giada, Font of Hope. A very good card, but it is not 4 blockers, so I believe we've got there. Yep, they've scooped them up. That is going to be a 3-0 for the Streets of Rage Riveteers deck. Round 4 now. We have a Great Curve, 2, 3, and 4 drop. We've got Riveteer's Overlook to make sure that we have 1 mana of every color. Our opponent is going to start out with a Cabaretti Initiate. 1/2 that can be given double strike. Alright, we take 1. They're on green, red. They pass the turn. Let's drop our 2/2 down, and that should pretty much just stop their attacks here, unless they want to throw a removal at our 2/2, which is also cool. Yeah, I'll eat a combat trick here. Nope, they've got the dagger. That would still eat a combat trick. They'd get the dagger permanently. Do we play around Quick Draw Dagger? I think we do. I mean, we're taking 1 damage. Jewel Thief is the play. Well, I feel bad for not blocking. Because if we get them to just play a dagger to kill a Gardener instead of playing a Jewel Thief that turn, that's a pretty big tempo swing. So I should have considered that. That is one thing to consider. If you're like if you're 100% certain your opponent has a trick, sometimes it's still better to just make them play it. Because if it's going to be a 1-for-1 trick and it stops them from like playing another creature, that's just a good deal for you. Because they're going to spend 1 card to kill your 1 card, but they're not going to make their board any better. That being said, that wouldn't be a 1-for-1 trick. It'd be a 2-for-1 because they'd kill it with a dagger and keep all of their cards on board. They'd keep the dagger around. So, not super certain there. I can get a Vigilance attack in with Gardener, trade my dagger into their Jewel Thief. I'm fine with that. Putting a 2-3 on this board isn't expanding my board state all that much. So I'm actually cool taking the time off to just kill this Jewel Thief. So after that whole spiel, I'm just going to do the thing. It was for the family. Rough. Rough. Really wish I would have blocked then. I would have been very happy to have them just cast the For the Family and not have 3 mana up for Jewel Thief. Yeah, now we're just getting curved out. We drop a 4-4. They can only attack with their 5-4 security rocks now. They're running out of cards. I mean, they're running low on cards. So they might not have more tricks to get things through here. They've got a Gala Greeters. Pretty scary. They've got more tricks to get things through. Another For the Family would be +4/+4 here, which is going to kill this no matter what we block. Block the Jewel Thief, force them to use it. Oh my god. Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Murder rocks take 4, 5, 6, 7. Just got no shot here. We can only play one thing. We've got no shot here. Wow, that played out really poorly. We definitely could have won this game if I were reading what they had better. But that was just exactly the tricks I didn't play around and not the tricks I did. Yeah. Sometimes your opponent will have all of the tricks, so whichever one you play around will be the wrong one. Can't survive here, can we? We play 1 card? No. That's game. That's really rough. If they had that quick dagger in the opening hand, then we would have got absolutely pooped on even if we did that early game block. I just hope they didn't top deck that dagger later. That would be brutal. Alright. Game 5 now. They start with Broker's Initiate, which is super fine by me. Nice little 0-4, so we get some breathing room this round instead of last round where opponents got a lot of cheap aggro dudes. Save Riveteer's Decoy to blitz it out later. It's not very good against the 0-4, so I would rather play a tapped land to guarantee a 3-drop turn 3. Then just slam down a 3-1 that's not even going to get in. Mayhem Patrol. Blitzing on out. That means they really need to draw land, I'm guessing. Need to cycle this and draw a card here. Yep, because they go right to the end step, so no land per turn. Makes a lot of sense. Just drop the Facebreaker here, see if we can start getting some treasure tokens slamming in with this card. Great strangle target for them, though, so let's hope, fingers crossed, no strangle. Most other cheap removal would be fine. Like if they hold for ransom or something, we still have the abilities. Brazen Upstarts, they can double block. Can we ruin a double block? Not really. If they double block, we can deal Gone Bad. If we play Riveteer's Decoy, they can't double block because they have to block the decoy. But then Decoy's not going to get any damage in. But Facebreaker will. That's interesting. Like, we play Decoy. Decoy just gets blocked by a 0/4, but that makes sure that our Menace creature gets in for 2 and we get a treasure in the process. I feel like I'd rather just kill the Brazen Upstart and get a treasure in the process. Or I could even just play a Girdergoons and attack with that, kill one of their creatures or get a treasure, and then draw a card and get a 2/2 end step. That almost feels better than anything else. Yeah, I think I'm just on Girdergoons. I'm not that worried about our opponent's aggro. Even with a 4-power creature, we can just kill it later with a deal gone bad. Okay, so they are going to take the trade to not get a card there. So it's also almost like Girdergoons was a 3-for-1 here, because we draw a card, kill a Brazen Upstart, and get a 2/2. So very good deal. You absolutely love it when your Blitz creature manages to kill something on the attack. And Professional Facebreaker is what's going to convince them to do that, because we kind of get the card out of it either way. Either we kill one of their creatures, or we get a treasure token to use later to draw a card. So Facebreaker making our Blitz cards even better, because they're kind of forcing blocks more often. Mage's Attendant, pretty great pickup off the Brazen Attendant, because it gives them 2 creatures off of 1 card for only 3 mana, so it really shuts off our Menace. Could attack both and just hold on to Deal Gone Bad here, I suppose. They've got the 1 mana to counter it by sacking that wizard, though, so we have to play an untapped land to do that. That's alright, I think we will. Alright. Cool. Just mill them. They're not going to have graveyard synergies in red, green, and white. We could mill ourselves, but I don't think I'm ever going to mill myself with Deal Gone Bad unless I already have a Riveteer's Ascendancy on board. There's the Rakish Revelers, a 5/3 and a 1/1. The blockers have arrived. Get a Midnight Assassin. That's a way to guarantee we're getting those treasure tokens. Decoy's so bad against the 0/4, actually. That's pretty sad. Just opening up my window. So it's kind of gray and gloomy outside. It's pretty nice. It's kind of weird to say, but I prefer that kind of weather. I just love raining. Yeah, you can't see the sky. It's just white and gray. 5/3 is coming in. I'm pretty happy with that. Do I want to kill it, or do I want to just take... I think I just want to take 5. Just gets a blocker out of the way. Super down for that. Ooh, Elegant Entourage is sick. Now we can actually do something with Riveteer's Decoy. But might just be on the value train here. Let's just get on the value train for now. See what we hit first, at least. I'm definitely not blocking with Midnight Assassin. Probably rather block with our 2/2 than anything else. So if anything's going to live through combat, we'd like our 2/2 to be able to block. Okay, get our treasure token. Use our Facebreaker and see what we can cast here. Capenna Express. Not that spicy here. It is kind of scary. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. We'd play a Sawjack in that, so I guess that's what we do. Get our maximum value. We are threatening to block with a 6/6 now, so they kind of just don't have attacks anymore. So that is kind of the value of the Capenna Express. It just like threatens to get crude, even if we never use it, which we probably won't. I think we need more treasure production for this Capenna Express to actually be an actively good card in our deck. I think this Capenna Express has probably failed our experimental deck more than any of our other cards we're trying out. But we haven't drawn Riveteer's Express yet, and it would be kind of bad on this board state, because we just sack a 2 mana creature and get nothing. Yeah, Riveteer's Ascendancy would do absolutely nothing for us also. So that actually seems like probably the worst card we drafted experimentally. Probably worse than the Capenna Express. Alright, Ceremonial Groundbreaker. Slap it on the Broker's Initiate. That can be a 5/5. Let me a 7/6 trample. I'll trade my train into that. I will block it with an entire train. Alright. Well, I mean, that's plenty of work done by the Capenna Express, actually. I'm pretty down with that. Okay, 3 toughness creature here. Annoying. I almost want to Entourage Jewel Thief to get to attack with more stuff here by making things 3 power. I'm just going to keep going the greed game, though. And just keep casting whatever's on top of my library and just start banking a whole hand of like 7 cards to play around with. If we keep hitting gas off the top. Ooh. Gas enough. Yeah, they're done. They're over it. Facebreaker's just a nasty card if you can keep hitting. Basically drawing 2 cards per turn. So we are 4-1 now as we head into round 6. Alright, here we are in round 6. We can grab a green source and then we can cast all these 2-drops. If we hit 1 more land, we get Warm Welcome. Get us some more action. Definitely need to hit a black source eventually. But we've got gas for a while. I'm going to keep this. Grab that green source. If we hit a land turn 3 with Civic Gardener available, we could even dump out 2 2-drops on turn 3, which is wild. So I'm going to go for it. We're going to drop Civic Gardener before anything else to give us that potential. Expendable Lackey from our opponent. We did not get a land here, so we cannot play 2 2-drops. So we can play Warm Welcome instead of one of these if we want to do that. Do we want to do that? Not really. Yeah, I don't think it's worth it. But the reason we can do that is because it's an instant. We can't do sorceries like that. But we could attack with this, then tap both, play Warm Welcome, untap, cast Warm Welcome. But here I think we're just going to play Socialite. And then if we don't hit a land again next turn, we'll probably go for the instant speed Warm Welcome to surprise kill Expendable Lackey without losing Socialite, because we can get the Surprise Alliance at instant speed. Actually, we can't do that, because we have to cast it immediately when we attack. We have to attack, tap a land. Yeah, we can't actually do that the way I want to, I think. Yeah, because every time, mana empties your mana pool every time a phase or a step ends. So as soon as we move from Declare Attackers to their Declare Blocker step, our mana's gone, so we can no longer cast a 3-drop. But I can do this. unless they counter it, and then they really get me. All right, that's pretty fancy. We don't have a black source at all, but Freelance Muscle is also a 5-drop. I don't know, we're feeling pretty rough on the mana front. If we get one land, we get a Jewel Thief down, which is nice. Call in Professional to kill the Socialite. Fair enough. Fair enough. There's blue-red from our opponent here. Another expendable lackey. Those are going to be really annoying for our early game blockers, because they can definitely block profitably. Well, we get a black source. Riveteer's Overlook. Yeah, our decoy's really bad against those as well. Kill both lackeys by sending Gardener in. Yeah, sure. Again, they get value because they can bring them both back from grave as fishes, but we are going to have something kill them, and this way we get to actually play another card this turn. Outside of the decoy, which is really bad on this board. We get to play like Jewel Thief, which is actually pretty solid on the board. Okay, so they're not going to kill Civic Gardener here. They're just going to draw a few cards off the lackey. So that's pretty cool. We are going to trade a 1/1 into the lackey, though. Alright, Jewel Thief, come on down. You are very, very good with this hand. So we really need that treasure token. And a 3/3 Vigilance Trample's pretty large on the board. Alright, they've got all three of their colors now. The full Maestro's blue, red, and black. And a Pugnacious Pugilist is the play. Big old, very good 4/4. So, what do we do? Should play a Midnight Assassin to have a good blocker. We can already double block the Pugilist fine. I don't really have anything great to drop down outside of Midnight Assassin, really. I think that's just our best play. If Ready to Rumble were an instant, we could do the Civic Gardener trick to kill the Pugilist, but it is not. I don't really want to spend a treasure to drop a Girder Goons, because if I get one more land, the treasure gets us to Ready to Rumble, so let's play our Midnight Assassin pass, I think. But yeah, this Pugilist is a really good deal, spitting out these devils every time it attacks. Ooh, and with a Body Dropper alongside it, where they can sack those devils at instant speed to do a damage and get a counter on Body Dropper, that's pretty terrifying. Riveteer's Decoy is still looking really bad in this matchup, especially if they can get devil tokens now, and they've got 1/1s to block with, so I'll discard the Decoy, I think. Yeah, and they still have fish tokens in the grave that also just kill the Decoy. So we draw a Murder, but we don't have double black, so we have to sacrifice the treasure to do it, which is really brutal. Really rather not do that. We can't cast anything unless we sack a treasure, so we'll pass turn. Stooping Newsy, potentially a 3/3 lifelinker here. Will be. They have milled their Professional Facebreaker. They are in Maestros, though, so they can definitely have Graveyard Recursion. Alright, they're just going to start hitting us for 1 a turn with the fish, put us on that 22-turn clock. And another Body Dropper. The Pugilist Body Dropper combo is starting to get real threatening. Even just the Body Droppers with just this Corrupt Court Official, they're just both going to be 3/3s. This is bad. This is definitely bad. Another Riveteer's Decoy, which is probably our worst card in this matchup. Pass that turn. Yep. Body Dropper, sacrifice a Corrupt Court Official to get Menace and turn into a 3/3 here. They sacrifice another card to beat Jewel Thief, but they need to sacrifice 2 more to kill both our creatures and have Body Droppers survive. Alright, so yeah, Jewel Thief is just going to trade into a Body Dropper. I'm pretty fine with that. Because that Body Dropper is just getting more and more threatening. Maestro's Theater. So they have no cards in hand, so if we start hitting lands, we definitely have a shot to stabilize here. We are going to start taking 2 a turn from these fishes, though. Did not take a damage from a fish this turn, though. They kept it back. Probably just an overexcitement to attack with the Body Dropper. I still don't think I can afford to just spend this treasure. Now I have a 4th mana. So now I know if I don't spend the treasure, I can Ready to Rumble, I can Freelance Muscle. I definitely can't play Riveteer's Decoy, because if we play Riveteer's Decoy, they attack with Pugilist, spit out a Devil, sack the Devil to Body Dropper, kill the Decoy, trade Pugilist for Midnight Assassin, and then I've got like nothing left on board. Really can't play Decoy right now. Can't play Decoy until we murder the Pugilist or Ready to Rumble it. So we can't play anything here, because everything else we would play would require a treasure as well. Forge Boss. That's rough. That card killed me twice in yesterday's draft. Does 2 damage to us every time they sacrifice a card. Once per turn. But they can sacrifice 1 during their turn, 1 during ours. Alright, another land? Yes, another land. Riveteer's Overlook, get that mana for murder. And we can crack the treasure for Ready to Rumble here. To get rid of Pugilist, so we don't have to worry about that. Then we can actually play Riveteer's Decoy to trade off into one of their cards. Murder can kill Body Dropper or Forge Boss to get that combo off the board. But I think the most important card to kill currently is the Pugilist first. That would put a 5-drop in their grave for the Newsy, though. Do they already have a 5-drop? They don't have a 5-drop in grave yet, so if we put that in their grave, then the Newsy's a 3/3 lifelink, which is a big deal. That's a problem. They don't have any 4-mana cards in grave either, so if I kill Forge Boss, that also gives the Newsy lifelink. They do already have 2-mana cards in grave, so if I put Body Dropper in grave, Newsy doesn't get any bigger. So I guess we kill Body Dropper first, and then we murder Pugilist next turn? And we're still going to have to worry about the big Newsy, but then we can play a 3/1 and then murder to make Newsy a 3/3. So, like, Newsy will be a 3/3 lifelink once we have a 3/1 on the board that can just block it anyway. But this way we can wait until then. I'm going to really hope that I picked the right option between Body Dropper and Forge Boss, but it's possible I didn't. Whack on Midnight Assassin is pretty whack, because that gives them an incredible attack this turn. That's brutal. This Devil token even just trades into the Gardener. Gardener's not going to block anything else well anyway. Yeah, it's not going to kill anything else I block. I'm only stopping 1 damage by doing that, though. But I'm getting the Devil out of the way so that my Decoy isn't going to just die to a Devil. Sure, we'll let our Civic Gardener die to a Devil so our Decoy doesn't. But I'm pretty sure we stumbled way too far, or way too long early on this game, that our dreams of stabilizing here are not going to come to fruition. We're on a 4-turn clock from the fishes alone now. And the Forge Boss gets to attack in alongside them because they got rid of the Midnight Assassin. Yep. Devastating game. We still survive 1 more turn, but barely. We don't have any effects that'll kill both of the fish at once, so there's no out. I guess we get to draw 1 more card. 1 green mana instant. If we draw a fog that is not in our deck, we'll still be in it here. Did not draw a card that is not inside our deck, unfortunately. That will be 4 and 2, heading into round 7 now. Roughest game of the draft so far, for sure. Here we are round 7. This is not an excellent hand, but we just need to hit any one land to get to Jewel Thief. Gives us the treasure token to drop a Ruiner down. We'll go for it here. See where this hand goes from here. There's only 1 off-color card in the hand. Opponent takes 1 mulligan, and they're considering a second here. Alright, just 1 mulligan. Another Maestro's deck, potentially. Pull out an island, so they're at least blue-black, is what I would guess. We do get a Riveteer's Overlook. Would I rather play a Gardener turn 2 or Jewel Thief turn 3 guaranteed? I think I'd rather guarantee my turn 3 Jewel Thief here. Grab our black source for Revel Ruiner. I forgot that we're green and black as the core and red is the splash. I realized some earlier game I was like, oh, this is all good. We can... Black is the splash, so it's okay if we don't hit the black mana for a while. But no, I forgot we're just a weird deck here where the enemy colors is the base of the deck. Not used to that. Alright, Jewel Thief, get in for 3. Revel Ruiner might be greedy, but I'm kind of into that. This gives us a way to discard this Capenna Express. Another card I've been seeing some talk about, the Capenna Express. LSV was saying it was pretty solid in his Riveteer's deck that he was playing. I think it's pretty bad in this one. Did a lot of work in one game, but every other time I've drawn it, it's been like, I do not have time to just commit a vehicle to the board instead of just actual creatures. Definitely still not very high on Capenna Express. Rooftop Nuisance. Sacrifice a fish to draw 2 cards, tap both of our creatures for 2 turns. An incredible card, Rooftop Nuisance. Certainly a very large nuisance. If they don't get a Wrath effect, we've got massive attacks next turn. 2 Jewel Thieves and a Revel Ruiner that has a counter on it. And they're in Obscura. They got 4 mana here. Mage's Attendant it is. That is not a Wrath effect. So just go for some beef. Send in the squad. Do I want to send in a Girder Goons alongside them or get some more creatures out here permanently? I think I'd rather get creatures that stick around first. Go for that Girder Goons later game. I guess we'd get a 2/2 to stick around alongside the attack. But the smaller we make their board, the more likely our big 4 damage swing gets in. So that's pretty nice. Clear the board down to just a Jewel Thief here. 5 mana. We can drop Sawjack and Gardener, but then we don't have the red source from the treasure token if we need it. Maybe I Warm Welcome first and see if we need the red source or not, and if we don't, then we play Civic Gardener. Alright, well, we don't need the red source. Might even go Attended Socialite because it's going to hit hard here. But Entourage is the strongest card. Yeah. Go for Entourage and pop the Gardener down. Keep the pressure on here. We have 6 power on the board and they're at 14. Oh, there it goes. Now it's raining. That's quite nice. Can't even see the rain. It's one of those days where it's really bright and it's raining. But you can hear it. It's very soothing. It's not going to pick up on the mic though. It's pretty quiet. Syndicate Infiltrator. So we can only attack with our 3 power or greater creatures. So we drop Entourage, grab a red source, attack with our 3/3 this turn. And then we use Entourage to make sure all of our creatures can attack the turn after this. Giving my opponent a bunch of extra information I didn't need to. I could have done all that stuff post-combat. So that they have as little information as possible when choosing whether or not to block. That would make it more likely that they would trade with Jewel Thief, because they might be like, maybe this is their last threat. I doubt it, but it's possible. Psychic Pickpocket is an absurd Magic card. And here it is. A big Mana War. A 3/2 minimum that comes into play, bounces a card, draws and discards a card. Phenomenal card for sure. Yeah, and when it's a 4/3, even better. Alright. 5 mana. Got 11 here. Getting pretty annoyed. Do I want to just rage attack here? No, I only have 5 mana. I don't have enough mana to play a creature and blitz in goons, so I think I just recast Entourage and attack with Jewel Thief. I don't think we're at blitz time yet. Next turn, though, the lower your opponent's life gets, the better blitz gets, because then your opponent is going to be forced into blocks. So every blitz card you play, you're getting them to kill one of their blockers, and you draw a card, turning them into 2-for-1s. Super nice. So the lower we chip them down, the better the Scourge Dragoons is going to get here. So Rafine's Informant is the play, allowing them to connive, draw a card, and discard a card. This Informant could be a 3/2 if they discard a non-land card. Looking for secrets, discarding a Hold for Ransom. They must have a pretty great hand here, which is pretty threatening. Gain a life off their land and cast Celestial Regulator. Oh. Tempo cards. Bounce spells and tap spells. The Rooftop of Nuisance, which was the double tap, double draw. Opponent's deck is frustrating. With Entourage on board, we're definitely not blocking here because we can make these big enough to attack in pretty easily. And we do have the 6 mana now so that we can go Socialite. Make that Gardener high enough power to kill a Regulator. Girder Goons. Make that Gardener big enough that they have to double block it to kill it. And then attack both. We even get to untap a card. I guess our best blockers are Entourage. They are going to double block Gardener, go for the kill. I'd rather kill the higher toughness card to make it easier for me to buff creatures up to be big enough to trade. So we'll kill the flyer here. You're down to 8. We get a 2/2 and draw a card. It does not matter what we target here. Draw a Riveteer's Overlook. So they've got 4 mana in hand, 4 cards in hand, 6 mana up. Pretty full grave. All of their cards that care about 5 or more different mana values are close to getting active. Mysterious Limousine is the play. That's an incredible card. It's a Oblivion Ring and a vehicle all in one. So they exile our Entourage until they attack with this, and then they could exile something else instead if they want. Yeah, that's rough. That just shuts off all our combat here. I guess we still get to get in with Socialite. But no longer do we make this 2/2 and 1/1 big enough to send in. So I think we probably go Midnight Assassin so we can guarantee we keep getting damage in the sky. I mean, we're probably supposed to play both these creatures even though it's stacking up the Socialite triggers. I don't know if it's better to play Overlook to thin a land out of the deck or Racer's Ring so that if we draw dead, we just immediately sacrifice Racer's Ring next turn. Probably better to do Racer's Ring here. So they trade with Informant for sure. I think it's better to play Racer's Ring this turn. And the next turn we play Overlook and then crack the ring afterwards. Alright, they have 3 cards left in their hand. They've got 7 mana here. They have some really powerful 2-for-1 style cards, though, like Mysterious Limousine, Psychic Pickpocket stuff. So our opponent, if anybody was going to have a huge chance of stabilizing, it's our opponent here in Obscura. Digging through their grave here, they might be picking up a creature from grave to hand. Oh, Rogue's Gallery for the 3-for-1. That's probably it. It's probably more than enough to stabilize our opponent. Yeah, because those are some absolutely disgusting cards. The Regulator, the what will be a 5/5 flyer, and the Mage's Attendant. Riveteer's Decoy is a phenomenal draw, though. Let's play the Overlook first, so I thin a card out of the deck before we draw a card. I guess we could just do that main phase 2. Actually, no, because it's gonna trade off into something because of its ability. So yeah, then we play Decoy. They're gonna be forced to have the Decoy trade into one of their creatures here, and we draw a card in this process. So they put one creature here. If I attack with everybody else, the best they can do is kill our 2/2 without losing a creature, and they take 2 more. It's probably not worth it. Sack a 2/2 to do 2 damage to them here. Yeah, I don't think that's worth it. We probably just send a Decoy. Oh, they can crew the Limousine. I forgot. That card is so busted. I totally forgot because I was treating it like an Oblivion Ring in my head. Or a Journey into Oblivion or whatever. Yeah, no, there's no way then. Never mind. Do we still want to cycle that? We might have wanted to just play it as a 2-mana 3/1 without blitzing it then. But there's an argument for still blitzing it to just cycle it and try to draw something to get out of this mess. Don't think that's going to happen though. Our opponent has 5 cards in hand. At least 4 of them are action, because I don't think they played a land last turn. Multiple of them are 2-for-1s. I'm going to blow up the Limousine. That's pretty legit. It's the best we've got. This would have been a lot better if I didn't blitz out that Riveteer's Requisitioner, because then we blow up their Limousine and have exactly enough mana to drop the Riveteer's Decoy here. They've got a counterspell in hand too. Alright. Opponent has got it all. Got it all locked up. The control versus aggro matchup. Once the control player has stabilized where you know that you're dead, but you have to keep playing for like another 20 minutes just in case. We'll see. I'll play it out. This is the last game if we lose. So if I concede, like the draft's just over right now, so we might as well play it out. Maybe our opponent will misplay phenomenally, or we'll draw just a collection of absolutely perfect outs. Riveteer's Decoy is not that because of the Limousine. So now we're cracking the Racer's Ring. Another land to crack, I guess. Hold on to the Decoy for Blitz in the future. If we draw into like Murder, we can Blitz out the Decoy, and then in response to them crewing the Limousine, murder it before it can block, and get the Decoy to actually kill something. Our opponent is reading and rereading Limousine. Well, they're reading like the entire board. They're thinking about giving us back the Elegant Entourage to exile the Midnight Assassins. They can get in with the flyers, but we have a reach blocker as well. Because I saw them reading the Limousine, the Midnight Assassin, and the Elegant Entourage a bunch. So that might be what they're considering. But they probably, because we have the Sawjack, they probably just are like, alright, whatever. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I gotta get this 4/3 off the board. Take 4 from their Girder Goons. It's going to get Syndicate Infiltrator active, probably. No, still just 4 different mana values in the grave. In case of murder, we'll hold up double black. What we got? Tramway Station. Masked Bandits. Well, now we actually have to get blocking, so we'll play Riveteer's Decoy. And then we'll exile this Masked Bandits. Actually, there's no reason to do that. We'll just cast it next turn. We don't need the mana fixing from it. I guess there's no reason not to exile it during their end step. Just in case we need double red for some weird reason. I guess if we draw another red card, that way we can use the filtering mana to cast the red card that we drew and the Masked Bandits in the same turn. If we draw a cheap red card. Rooftop Nuisance. Yep, that's probably it. 1 blocker up. They draw 2. I keep saying that's probably it. Well, I don't mean lethal on board, I mean that probably just seals it. But by that logic, it's been sealed for like 10 turns, which I think it has been. So I should probably stop saying that's probably it. Because it's been it for a bit. Yeah, they hit us to 1 even if they kill our decoy. So we survive this even if they removal spell before combat. Alright, I'm just going to take it all. Maybe we will get a massive blitz card and kill the attendant. Another Sawjack is not that, but it can block their flyers, which is generally good. Not going to be enough to block with to survive, though. Right? We have 2 blockers, only 1 in the sky. Block that in the sky, block that on the ground, take 1, 2. Limousine hits us. Yeah, we take 6. We take definitely lethal. Yep, we don't have enough mana to cast the Bandits and the Sawjack, so that's deaders. 4 and 3. It is not terrible for a little bit of an experimental draft. I don't think the draft worked out perfectly. It was a bit experimental, and we did end up with some kind of filler cards like the Ripsaws. We did not end up in a color pair that I wanted to end up in. As I've said before, if you've seen my draft guide for the format, I really don't like ending up as enemy colors as the core of the deck, because some of the strongest things you can do are the multicolored cards in the set. Not just the 3-colored cards, like we do have 2 in here, but particularly the 2-color multicolored cards. That is the biggest downside of our deck. We did end up just being in enemy colors because we didn't get any sweet multicolored cards, didn't get any sweet 2-colored multicolored cards here. We had opportunities to pick up a body dropper pretty late in the draft, but that was when we were already really heavy into green, so we would have had to just been the full 3-color. Maybe it would have been worth it just to have body droppers in here because the card is pretty sweet. So yeah, again, the biggest downside here is something that I definitely described in my draft guide if you've seen the video, which is the strongest things you can do are some of the multicolored cards. So being in an allied color pair where we can have the 2-colored green, red, gold cards is a pretty big deal. And that was a big downside to the deck. Definitely a weaker power level because of that. We had to run some filler cards like Sawjacks, Attended Socialite, Civic Gardener are all pretty filler in this color pair. Even Revelry Ruiner's not great. Midnight Assassin's not great. A lot of filler in here. And then the other part was very self-inflicted. I just wanted to try some stuff I hadn't played around with yet. Riveteer's Ascendancy, Capenna Express, and Quick Draw Dagger. We cannot attribute Riveteer's Ascendancy to any of the deck's failure because I didn't draw it a single time. But Capenna Express was not great. Quick Draw Dagger was super fine. That was fine in here. But Capenna Express, not the best card ever. Other than that, yeah, I think that's pretty much everything that wasn't great. Didn't like being in enemy colors here. Too many monocolored cards making us fill the deck with some pretty filler, not that powerful stuff to get there. So those are the weaknesses of the deck. Strongest stuff in the deck, definitely Professional Facebreaker. I'd pick 1, pack 1 that all day long. Jewel Thieves were phenomenal. We actually had some bad matchups for the Decoy. This card generally can do a lot of stuff. It can do some good work, as we saw in some of the better matchups for it. But in the bad matchups for Decoy, the card is really bad, like we saw last round and the round against just a bunch of 1 toughness. Or no. It was the round against our opponent had the 1 mana 0/4, where it's like, well, I'm just going to get blocked by the 0/4. So yeah, when this card pops off, it's great, but it's a very coin flippy card because it's very bad in the matchups where it's bad. Other than that, Entourage phenomenal, Girdergoon's phenomenal, Freelance Muscle was fine, Bandits were fine, and the removal was fine. That's pretty much everything in the deck. So that is our last little assessment on everything in the deck, but that is going to end today's draft. As always, if you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more, just stick around on the channel. You can like, comment, and subscribe to let the YouTube algorithm know to send some more of these videos to you in your notification feeds, and, well, in your recommended feeds. And, yeah, that is going to end today's video. We've got an Arena Open, that is Streets of New Capenna Limited, coming up this month, as well as a qualifier weekend. I will be playing in both of those, but until then, we'll be doing some practice drafts and practice seals of Streets of New Capenna, so stick around for that if you're interested. As always, thank you all once again for watching, and I'll see you soon for some more Magic Arena.